I Let's do it, boys. Heavy commentary. Welcome to Fallout 4 speedrunning. This is any percent, which is beat the game as quickly as possible. Glitches are allowed in this. If you don't like glitches, I have glitchless speedruns on my YouTube channel. I hold the record in those as well. Waff, is this the run? This game is played in French, and this game is played in French because French is 11 seconds faster than English. In the top right corner, you'll see my frame rate is limited to 60. And the reason you'll see it once the white fades, because it's hard to see because it's a white number. Oh, Waff, it's not the run. Okay. See, my frame rate is limited to 60. That's because this game runs faster at a higher FPS, and we don't want people to be able to just buy world records by having fast computers. So we limit to 60, so that it's a fair game for everyone, you know. I picked the presets I pick for two reasons. One is because I like them. The other reason is that when if I start at a certain time, Codsworth will be at a certain part in the house, and I'll save a second when I talk to him, just like this.
Merci,
he won't need to turn around to talk to me, so it saves a second. We're playing on patch 1.1.30, which is an official release of the game, so it's allowed. But it is an earlier version of the game because a couple glitches we used got patched out. There are no mods installed. This is with the base PC version, no DLC installed or anything like that. We play on very easy because it's the easiest difficulty, and people die fast. So therefore it's the fastest. I'm going to talk to this dude and do my stats. When I talk to him, I'm going to pick the down option for the dialogue because Fallout 4, being the great RPG game it is, with many dialogue outcomes, if you just mash down, it progresses through the dialogue very quickly. There are like 2 or 3 dialogues where I don't pick that throughout the run. You'll just see them randomly. But for my stats, I'm going to max out agility, max out endurance, put 1 point into intelligence, and put 2 points into luck. The reason I max out endurance is because if you max out, or the more endurance you have, the slower your AP will drain when you sprint, so we can sprint for longer. When you max out agility, the more AP you have, so you can sprint for longer. Give me a second. So I max out endurance and agility because those both make me sprint longer. And then I put 1 point into intelligence, and the reason for that is sorry, I had to wait for Codsworth to talk. That's an audio cue. The reason I put 1 point into intelligence is because the more intelligence you have, the more XP you get. And we want to get just a little bit of extra XP, not too much extra, because that'll throw off a level up. We want to level up at a very specific time because when you level up, it completely refreshes your health and HP. Or your health and AP. And it would be really nice if we perfectly ran out of AP and then also leveled up at the same exact time, and because then it's a free AP bar. So we pretty much just time out our XP by getting 2 intelligence. We don't want any more, we don't want any less. And then the last 2 skill points we can use, there are actually none of the other special points give us any benefit in the terms of a speed run. Like, sure, we could get strength to have extra carry weight, stuff like that, but it actually doesn't matter in the long run. They wouldn't help us actually go faster. So we just dump them into luck because luck is the fastest stat to just dump things into. What's up, developer? If I talk to this dude and then talk to him at the end of my line, I can skip his line just like that. So that's pretty nice. Now I'm gonna run and just jump onto this vault door. I'll say, alright, that's it, send it down. Almost there, we're gonna be okay. I love you, both of you. We love you too. Boom. Oh my god. Gasp. Now. Send it down now. Hold on. Can't this thing move faster? Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Let's see, what else can I just talk about right now? So we're about to have a 2-minute cutscene where I can't do anything. It's when I get into the vault pod, or the cryopod. When I'm inside of that, I play Nintendo 64 to kill time. I've been playing through SM64. I play on an actual N64. I don't play on an emulator. I use an IO data GV USB 2 to capture my gameplay, and I play with a GameCube controller. I use a RAFnet V2 GameCube to N64 adapter to be able to play with a GameCube controller, because GameCube controllers are OP. They're really awesome. What else? I'll start explaining like the 2 major movement glitches in a moment. My chat's on screen, as you can see. I'm just trying to think of anything I could possibly say. If this, like, you know, you guys know how when I do heavy commentary, I always say it as if it's going up on YouTube. So anytime you see chat say something like, "Why is it in Spanish?" They know it's in French. They're just memeing. It's like a really terrible meme to ask what language it's in when it's like clearly a certain language. And they always say Spanish. Also, they like to say shit like, "No spoilers, please." Even though it's a speedrun, so there's gonna be spoilers. I'm gonna talk to the student and sit down. Alright, let me play N64 and explain coordinates. Alright, so there's this thing in video games where the way the video game actually tells where you are is it reads your coordinates. Your character always has an X, Y, and Z coordinate depending on where they're standing, right? Always has an X, Y, and Z coordinate. And as you move around the map, like how Mario is climbing up this pole, his Z coordinate is changing. Now, like, my X and Y coordinate change and whatnot. Okay, I want to focus and grab these. Come on. No! God! You fucking kidding me, man? Oh my god, I want to die. So, pretty much, as you move around in video games, your coordinates change. That's just how games work, and Fallout 4 is no different. And we actually have 2 glitches that involve coordinates that we do in Fallout 4. One is called cover sliding, one is called punch warping. I'll explain punch warping first, since I set up a punch warp first. So, in this game, when you attempt to melee attack something in VATS, as long as you're within VATS range, you can select to melee attack it, right? It's going to be like a 95% success rate. You don't need to be within arm's reach to actually melee attack it, because the game will then close the distance once you confirm the VATS attack. So you just pretty much have to be within VATS distance and then melee attack it. But the thing is what happens if, like, pretty much, so the game repositions you. Oh, you kidding me? Oh my god, no, please. Okay. What happens when you attempt to melee attack something VATS, but when the game would go to move you to where your target is, that would put you like out of bounds or something. Well, hello, thank you. Pretty much when you attempt to melee attack something in VATS, you get teleported to next to the object that you're attacking. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say, but I'm stumbling over my words. So if that teleportation to your target would either put you out of bounds or inside of an object, then the game has to think for a moment like, how are we actually going to put him there? And if while the game is thinking you cancel your melee attack, then the game will remember the coordinates of where you were standing. So then the next time you attempt to melee attack something in VATS, you'll get teleported to where you were standing. Also, I should say, my timer, it has a built-in component called a load remover, where the game will always read the status of the game, and it can tell when it's in a loading state, and the timer will automatically pause whenever the game is loading. So that's all automatic by the timer. I still split manually. I'm gonna grab this cone because I'm gonna do a VLC clip with it, which is just using it to climb over a wall. But pretty much whenever you see my timer pause, that's because the game is reading that it's loading, and it pauses the timer, and that's so that people just can't buy expensive computers and be able to buy records because, like, they have super fast computers. I accidentally only grabbed 2 stim packs there. It's just a way to even the playing field, rich versus poor. I'm going to do another VLC clip, and you'll see me also attempt to melee attack a rad roach here. But I'm going to stand between these boxes in the wall, and I just set up a punch warp, because the game doesn't want to put me through those boxes to attack that rad roach. So I'll do another VLC clip. Come on. There we go. Then I'll come over here and I'm going to set up a cover slide. The way cover slides work is, you see how I just aimed around the corner there? When you aim around the corner, if you enter third person and stop your aim at the same exact time, then you break the animation of your guy re-entering behind like the corner in your cover. So then the next time you attempt to pull out your gun in first person, you're going to finish that animation. The game is going to bring you back, like the game will have you like finish the aim around the corner. But the game wants you to do that in the spot where you were aiming around the corner originally. So it slingshots you back to where you were standing, essentially. So it's pretty much, I aim around a corner, I enter third person, and stop aiming at the same time, and then the next time I pull out my gun in first person, I get slingshotted back to those coordinates. And I'm going to be doing that in a second. I'm going to walk over to Sup Kung. I'm going to walk over to this spot, and I'm going to take out my gun, and we're going to cover slide to Conquered and hopefully get Sanctuary. Because you can discover Sanctuary. Yep, we got Sanctuary. You can discover Sanctuary on the slide, and it saves 17 seconds later on because you need to go back later, and it's faster to just discover it on this slide than to run to it later. I should also say those gaps in, like, you'll see it on the yeah, for you guys it's on the left. Fenway, Radiation, Kellogg, those don't have numbers recorded next to them because I'm running on an updated route compared to my last PB, and those are the splits that changed, so I can't accurately compare to them with the new strats, so those don't have times recorded. So right here I just attempted to melee attack that dude in VATS, and what that did was teleport me back to the coordinates of where I was standing when I attempted to attack the Radroach. But those coordinates, when I'm in the Commonwealth, line me up to right next to Green Tech, which is a location we need to discover, so I'm going to discover it. Make a quick save, and the reason for the quick save is I'm going to do what's called a load warp in a second, but I'll explain load warps later because they're not really necessary to explain right now, and they take a little bit to explain, and I have other things I need to explain right now. But this run's pretty good so far because we have Sanctuary. So I'm going to swim into here. I quick load as the screen is fading in. That's the load warp. I'll explain why I did that later. Just remember that I did that. And pretty much as soon as I load in on the other side of this sewer, I'm going to quit to the main menu and load the autosave that was made from when I entered. And the reason for that is when you load a save from the main menu that was made underwater, you load in at the top of the water. Also, I changed my comparison splits to balanced PB. I'll explain that in a second. It turns out the top of the water in this sewer area is out of bounds. And if you swim right up next to this pipe, you discover the last quest in the game, the nuclear option. So now I have the nuclear option and I can leave the sewer. But I like to switch back and forth between balanced PB and my actual PB, just because balanced PB gives me like a full number of splits to compare against. Balanced PB pretty much takes your personal best and disperses your time loss evenly throughout all the splits. But yeah, now we have the last quest in the game, which is really cool, because we can beat the game, right? Well, not really. We have to get inside the Institute to beat the game and finish that quest. But to get inside the Institute, we have to do a lot of other things, like building the teleporter. And to do that, we have to do a lot of other things. So I'm going to jump up here, grab this enamel bucket, climb up real quick. Now I'm going to run to Good Neighbor. Might get blocked by a dog here. Jump over him, sweet. I'm going to go to Good Neighbor and do some shopping and buy some items that help us go faster. But you may have noticed we haven't really picked up any caps or done much looting. So how are we going to buy all this stuff, right? I'm going to grab this frag mine because frag mines are great for punch warping. I'll explain that later. But how are we going to buy all this stuff? Well, I mentioned earlier we're playing on patch 1.1.30, and on this patch we had we use what's called the vendor glitch, and pretty much the vendor glitch is buying and selling a chunk of bullets from a vendor in a very specific order. And when I do that, I'm pretty much able to sell bullets infinitely to her and get infinite store credit. So I'm going to walk up to Daisy and talk to her, and then I'm going to look for several things. I'll say what they are after. I'm going to buy this aluminum canister. Biometric scanner. quantum. Steal this and run. Serpentine, 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 serpentine. Alright, I didn't take too much damage, that's good. Okay, so the things that I bought a biometric scanner, which is random whether or not she has it, so it's very good that she has it, because otherwise we have to farm it off of turrets later on. And that's required to complete the game, this biometric scanner, because you need it to build the teleporter. I'm gonna bind real quick and I'll keep talking about what I bought then. So give me a second, because I need to think when I bind. Alright, so I bought a biometric scanner for the reasons I said earlier, and then I looked for several items inside of her aid section, which were like buff out bourbon, jet, quantum, radaway stimpack. She always spawns with radaway and stimpacks, but I only was able to get quantum and radaway and stimpacks, but I picked up a buff out earlier on from a toolbox in an alleyway, so I was able to bind that. Buff out's good because it makes it so you can sprint for longer, so is bourbon, so is quantum. Jet is needed for a glitch later on that I need to do. And then radaway stimpacks for the obvious reasons, they're good for your health. And then I bought Destroyer's left leg piece because that allows for me to move 10% faster. I just bought the chest piece because it reduces damage taken from humans by 15%, so that's good. I'll grab this Minuteman outfit. Thanks, Jabo. Gonna grab this Minuteman outfit because it increases my agility by 1, I believe. Then I also bought frag mines and pipe pistol. And the reason why I've been buying and picking up these frag mines is because it allows for me to set up punch warps anywhere. Because you can melee attack frag mines, so you don't need an enemy to be able to set up and trigger punch warps. So I'm gonna kill these dudes and grab some pipe pistols. Look for like jet, bourbon. Sick. Jet. Sweet. Alright, we got the jet. So now I don't need to pick it up later. This. I don't remember how many pipe pistols I bought. So I'm gonna grab as many guns as I can for clipping, because guns are good for clipping through walls. Grab this. That dude just killed himself. Reload. And I need to pickpocket Sturgis here. But to pickpocket him, I have to finish a long dialogue with Preston. That was actually really fucking lucky right there. That was really fucking lucky that we got that first try. That's a 49% chance success rate. No, it's not it's not dry yet. I can talk for hours. Just ask Waff or Merbs. But that item that I pickpocketed off him, it spawns after I get the nuclear option quest, and it's required to complete the game. So that's why we had to come back later. But the reason why I shot Preston, or why I shot Sturgis, is because normally when you enter that room, I'm also cover sliding right now. Normally when you enter that room, Preston does a long dialogue and he doesn't shut up, and you have to wait till he finishes to pickpocket Sturgis. Nice. Normally you have to wait until he's done talking to be able to pickpocket Sturgis, but if you just aggro them, then you're able to pickpocket them right away. We need that item to complete the game, so that's why we pickpocketed him, and that only spawns after we get nuclear option. I just cover slid to Lexington, and the reason we're at Lexington is because we're going to be doing the loyalty quest for the railroad, because we want to side with the railroad to complete the game. But in order to side with the railroad, we have to join the railroad, and in order to join the railroad, we have to do their loyalty quest. And the loyalty quest normally is to come to this place with Deacon. I'm going to set up a punch warp in this corner. So I just stored my coordinates. Normally you come to this place with Deacon and you kill a bunch of synths, and he does a lot of like hacking for you. But instead, if we just clip out, drop down here, heal up a little bit, drop down again into this room, we can pick up that item, which is Carrington's prototype. I'm going to bind the jet, and also equip the Minuteman outfit. And then if we just drop Carrington's prototype, oh shit. If we just drop Carrington's prototype, then we start the quest Tradecraft. But instead of starting it, we're actually finishing it, right? Because the way quest stages work, it turns out when you drop Carrington's prototype, which you're not supposed to be able to do, it updates the quest to pretty much the end. So I punched warp back up by using my frag mine and left the switchboard, which updates my quest stage. So pretty much now all I have to do is meet the railroad and talk to them, and then I'll be a member. So I fast travel to here. And I'm going to run over to the Old North Church now. Because the Old North Church is where the railroad is. Say Papa Paul bless to the statue of Paul Revere. Paul Revere was the father of speedrunning. I'm going to drop a pipe pistol right here and clip into the basement and talk to the railroad. Just like this. And they talk to the dude who just fell from the ceiling because they... I don't know. Logic. I don't think it's weird that I fell through the ceiling. So I'm going to talk to them. And this is the first time that you'll see me select a dialogue option that isn't down, because it saves a second to do like certain dialogue choices here. So I'm going to do down, left, right. Stand over here. Talk to Deacon. Come on. Come on. Wait for Deacon. There we go. Okay. Des got locked a little bit. So we're going to talk to Deacon, and then talk to him again. I'm going to pick left now for evasive, so I don't have to do that speech check. If I hit the speech check or miss it, it doesn't matter, but it saves like a quarter of a second to not have to even go through that dialogue. And then I'm going to set up a cover slide right behind me. Right here. Shit. Come on. Come on. There we go. Run and enter the Railroad HQ, because now we're members. And I'm going to fast travel to, pretty much I'm going to do a little level up Action Boy, because it increases my AP regen by 25%, which is good because we can sprint more. And then I'm going to level up Solar Powered because it increases my agility, or no, endurance and strength by 2 during daytime, and that's good because you can sprint for longer. And now I'm going to fast travel to Lexington and back to the Railroad HQ, and then to Boston Common. And the reason for this is for 2 reasons. One is because it skips a dialogue by Desdemona, which is fast, and it also offsets the day-night cycle of the game, so that it'll be daytime during this long running segment we're about to do. Yeah, Merbs, this run's okay. Start could be better. But now, pretty much, if I had just gone straight to Boston Common, then Des wouldn't have skipped her, like, she would still have to go through a long dialogue line, and it would also be nighttime, which is bad because we have solar powered, and we want it to be day. But by doing that fast travel, it will now be day, and we'll be able to run fast.
Thanks, author.
Thanks, Jabo. So now what I'm going to do is run over to Fenway, which is Diamond City in the game. I typically call it Fenway, though. We're going to run over to Fenway, and when we get to... sup, little Remus? When we get to Fenway, we're going to just clip into the side with a cone, do a VLC clip. And the reason for that is because, 1, it's faster than running all the way around and entering Fenway, and 2, by entering Fenway from the back and getting, like, entering a load zone that's unintended, it completely skips the Piper and Mayor McDonough dialogue that you normally have to go through when you normally enter. So I'm just going to run up here. Okay, Waff. Gonna grab this cone. It was a little slow. Clip right up here. Ooh, that was smooth. And then what I'm going to do is trigger the cover slide that I set up in the neck, pretty much right behind Sturgis, and that'll slingshot me to right next to Nick's Detective Agency. It's called a VLC clip because the logo for VLC Media Player is a cone. But I'm going to trigger my cover slide, and I get slingshotted right to pretty much right to Nick's Detective Agency, and I'm going to set up a punch warp right next to the entrance. That was real smooth. Oh, come on. I'm going to set up a punch warp right here. then enter Nick's detective agency, and then exit. And the reason for this is that we're hitting a trigger twice. We're gonna hit this trigger once, and this trigger is supposed to send Nick to like Vault 114 or something. And then when we enter later, it'll pretty much send him back. So pretty much hitting the trigger twice does, it offsets itself. So we'll be able to talk to Nick here. So I'm just gonna exit and fast travel to Diamond City. Pretty much, I'll never have to go to Vault 114 to talk to Nick. He'll always be in the detective agency now when I go to talk to him. So I'm just gonna exit Diamond City, and notice that when the game loads in, it fades from black. I'm gonna make a hard save, which is just a regular save. That's what we refer to them though, as opposed to quick saves. I'm gonna make a hard save as soon as I can, and the reason for that is, so pay attention to how it fades from black. Notice how it faded from black. Alright, so whenever you like load by entering or exiting a place, also I pop my buff out to increase my endurance. Whenever you enter and exit a place, there's a fade to black when you enter and a fade from black when you leave. If you make a hard save next to one of those places, so that one of those load zones is easily accessible, you can do what's called a load warp. And a load warp, in layman's terms, is a way to pretty much maintain the progress that you've made by loading an old save. So essentially later on, I can make a quick save and then load an old save, and I'll be the character who is from the quick save. Also, I just pop my quantum to refresh my AP. So the way it works is later on in the game, I'll make a quick save, and then all I have to do is load an old save and enter an area with a fade to black, and during that fade to black, I press quick load. And it'll load me on the other side of that like load zone, but I'll load as the character from the quick load. So essentially it's a way to fast travel using old saves, and it's really good for leaving buildings since you can't fast travel out of buildings. And it's also very good for fast traveling out of combat. So anytime you see me load an old save, that's me performing a load warp. And I only load saves that I've made from the time that I press new game, which is like, you can't load a pre-made save because that's cheating, but you're allowed to load any save that you've made on the character that you created when you press new game. But now what I'm going to do is just run across the glowing sea, because we need to get to Virgil's cave, because Virgil's cave is necessary to complete the game. And we can't just cover slide or punch warp to it, because you can only cover slide or punch warp to coordinates that you've already been to. And the coordinates of Virgil's cave are so far in the corner of the map that the coordinates are so crazy. Thanks, Kev. Good to see you, dude. Hope your run's been okay. The coordinates are so crazy and big that there's no other area in the game that has coordinates that line up and match with this area. So we can't punch warp or cover slide to it. What? Are you fucking kidding me? So fucking dumb. I've only had that happen to me once before in a run. This run's really good though. I'm gonna be setting up a cover slide coming up soon, and pretty much I'm setting it up in the bottom left corner of the map. So imagine, I'm setting it up in the bottom left corner of the map, right? Imagine your screen is the map. By setting it up in the bottom left corner, anywhere I go then, come on, anywhere I go then, I'll get slingshotted back to the bottom left corner. So if I go to the bottom left corner and go to the top left corner, when I trigger my cover slide, I'll slide down the left side of the map, which is good because we want to get to Fort Hagen soon, which is in the middle left side of the map. And going to Fort Hagen is good because that's where Kellogg is, so I'm just going to cover slide to it soon. So I'm going to set my cover slide right here, and then run to Virgil's cave. Yeah, I do need grid. I do need grid paper. Also right here, notice how my AP is about to be empty, and I just leveled up. That's what I was talking about earlier when I said I wanted to level up at a certain time, because it just gave us a free AP bar right there. That's why we have 2 intelligence. If we had if we had 3 or 4 intelligence, we wouldn't level up there, which is not good. Also, I talked about, like, way long time ago when I was talking about entering the sewer, I load warped going into the sewer by making a quick save right after I discovered green tech, so that when I entered the sewer I would still have green tech. And the reason why I did that is because by making a quick save when I discovered green tech, I was making my quick save with my character who had full AP and full health. So then when I entered the sewer, I would be back at full AP and full health after sprinting by a bunch of raiders. And then right up here, I'm just going to run right up to Virgil's cave and make a hard save right outside of it so I can load warp later. And I'm able to run right past this Deathclaw because you actually have to approach him from the front for him to aggro onto you, so I can run right past him. And he's okay with me doing that, so I'll make a save. And then fast travel to Lexington. And the reason I go to Lexington is because that's where my power armor is, and power armor negates fall damage, so...
Thanks, Arthur.
Thanks, Mallory. Thanks for the host. No, Kev, it actually doesn't. We found out that it doesn't. So I'm going to enter my power armor. You can you can mash E while the game is fading in, and you'll enter it during the fade in, so it saves a second or two. I'll fast travel to Vault 111 because this is the top left corner of the map. So now I'm going to slide down the left edge of the map and try and stop halfway at Fort Hagen. Hopefully I'll land next to it, but this is the big run killer. This is where most good runs die, is right here. Sup, how to Taco? How are you, dude? Sup, Schubert? This looks good. Okay, that was incredible. That was actually a really fucking good slide. The record is 40-53. Oh, come on. So now I'm gonna get out my fat man, because we're gonna go and talk to Kellogg real quick. We need to talk to him to advance the quest. I'm gonna drop a pipe pistol to do another clip. Ah. Sorry about that. Come on. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? There we go. This honestly could have been a gold. I'm gonna grab some things off Kellogg and enter the terminal. So some of the things I grabbed, pretty much I grabbed a quest item. I looted a bunch of items off him to essentially grab a quest item, which is required to do the memory den sequence. And then also I grabbed a frag grenade because I can trigger a punch warp that I stored a long time ago on it. Also, I made a quick save after I killed him, and I loaded an old save, which is the Fens save, the one I made right outside of Fenway. And I'm going to walk backwards and hit the load zone so it fades to black and quick load. So I just quick loaded right there. So I'll load on the other side, inside of Fenway, but I'll be the character who just killed Kellogg. And then what I'll do is immediately equip that frag grenade. Switch back to my PB comparison, because this is where the time comes back in, where I actually have times for my splits. But I'm going to equip the frag grenade and security baton so I can punch warp, and I'll punch warp back to that punch warp that I set up the first time I was here, which is right next to Nick's agency. And then when I enter, I'll hit the trigger again and move Nick. I'll move Nick back to Diamond City. Where did I grab the grenade? There's one on Kellogg's body. Kellogg has one on him. Now once I get inside here, I'm going to heal up real quick. Come over here, hopefully seal this hot plate. There we go. We want the hot plate because it has 2 circuitry, which is needed to build a teleporter later on. Talk with these guys. I split manually, except it's like a built-in component of live split to read the state of the game and be able to tell when it's loading. So I split manually, but the game pauses the timer by itself. So now I'm going to go to Good Neighbor and progress the quest. Progress the main quest. And fast travel there. And pretty much go and talk to Amari and Nick Valentine. And yeah, this is really good pace. This could be better. This could probably be like, with that Kellogg slide, it could be probably minus 20. But this run's good. Oh, so we're gonna do the culling. Let me explain the culling. So the culling is a thing that we do on my stream. Whenever we get to the memory den, it's a raffle that we do every run that makes it this far, where people will type exclamation point vessel in chat. Any message that involves my bot, so anything that starts with an exclamation point or any message from the bot doesn't appear on stream, so you can't see them. It doesn't appear like on the screen, so it doesn't show up in my stream, so it doesn't flood that shit. But pretty much everyone's typing exclamation point vessel right now in chat, and they enter the raffle, which is the culling. And what I'll do is later on, I'll draw one name from all of these people, and that person will be the vessel. And the vessel will be, also I'm going to set up a punch warp right here in the corner. The vessel is responsible for the rest of the run. Anything good that happens is because of the vessel. Anything bad that happens is because of the vessel. If the run ends up being a world record, the vessel gets a free sub to my channel that they get to choose what to do with. Like, they could keep it for themselves or give it to someone else. If the run isn't a world record, however, then that person gets timed out for however long the run lasted. So I'll punch warp back to the basement to talk to Amari. I exited and re-entered because it skips a dialogue. But like, if the run died right now, the vessel will be timed out for 27 minutes 12 seconds. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot Amari so she aggroes to me, so that Nick aggroes to her, because Nick is technically our companion during this during this quest. And you'll notice that the game faded to white immediately. Normally when you sit down, there's around a 30-second dialogue there that you have to sit through. But if you shoot Amari so she aggroes to you, and then she'll shoot you, so then Nick will aggro to her. And if you then down her, it essentially, if you down her and then put your gun away and sit down immediately, it essentially abuses a script that's inside of the game to de-aggro Nick from Amari, and it skips her entire dialogue. So it's about like a 25 to 20 second time save depending on how quickly you're able to down her. Like, because as opposed to just sitting down in the chair, you still have to down her, so you lose a little bit of time on that, but you are skipping a 30-second dialogue. But I'll pick the vessel once we get once we like are ending this part of the run. Once we're ending like the memory den. But this part right here, we can't skip. You have to run all the way through this. If someone found a way to skip this entire memory den sequence in a way that was applicable to any percent, and that's like not just this whole walking part but also the cutscene part, if you found a way to skip this and it was applicable to any percent and made the run faster and it was like actually viable in a run, I would give you 250 bucks. That's my bounty on this memory dance, this memory sequence skip. We have done a lot of work and we can't figure it out. But we understand how the game thinks a lot in this section. But I'm gonna come up to here, and then we just have to stand around for 2 minutes, so I'll play some more Mario. And then I don't really have anything to explain at this point, so I'm just gonna play some Mario. There's supposed to be a shell here. Let me kill myself.
C'est bon. Un jour, quelqu'un va te faire sauter la cervelle si tu continues de débarquer sans prévenir.
Je suis censé limiter mon contact avec les civils au maximum.
Oublie ce que j'ai dit. Alors, quel est le problème urgent cette fois?
J'ai de nouveaux ordres pour toi. L'un de nos scientifiques a quitté l'Institut.
Quitter? C'est-à-dire?
C'est un traître. Il s'agit du docteur Brian
I'm pissed.
On sait qu'il se cache quelque part dans la mer luminescente. Voilà son dossier.
Oh shit, we have 64 stars.
Merde, il y a des têtes qui
I just realized.
Je le capture et le ramène ou je l'élimine?
Il faut l'éliminer.
God damn it, I forgot to pick the right star.
Sans blague. Une des grosses têtes de biosciences? Merde. Bon. Je suppose que tu vas ramener le gamin.
Affirmatif. Ta seule mission est de trouver
I did it
Virginie
again.
et de l'éliminer.
Let me just refresh my lives by dying.
Oui. Viens à côté de moi et ne bouge pas.
D'accord.
Also, the reason why you can't, like, I have the volume down on my N64 is because Nintendo is very, vigilant with their copyright claims for their music and whatnot. So, I turned down the volume so the volume isn't on stream, or the sound isn't on stream, because otherwise they would copyright claim my runs.
Salut.
Alright.
Il se téléporte.
Alright, so let me see. Let's close the giveaway, pick a winner. Little Remus.
Pas d'entrée. Je vais vous faire sortir de là. C'est quand vous voulez.
Alright, Little Remus. Yeah, for real, Kev. Little Remus, you're the vessel. Current vessel, Little Remus. You're responsible. So I'm going to shoot Amari real quick right here, because that skips her dialogue and advances the quest, and then I'm going to make a quick save. And I just golded. I'm going to make a quick save and load the glowing sea save and enter Virgil's cave and load warp. So now I'm the character from the memory den thing, but I'm now inside of Virgil's cave. That gold means that it's the best I've ever done on that split. So I'm gonna run over and talk to Virgil real quick. Sup, Brongle? Thanks, Bubbles.
Calmez-vous.
I'm gonna keep talking to
Bien.
Virgil.
Pas. Je l'ai tué.
This run's pretty good.
Je sais que vous en faisiez partie. Du calme. Je veux ça. J'essaye de retrouver mon fils.
Get through all this dialogue.
Et je vous rendrai. Ouais. Ils utilisent une... Ouais. Un bon paquet. D'accord. Dites-moi simplement. D'accord. C'est parti. Bien.
A lot of dialogue. There we go. Now what I'm gonna do is go and fast travel to. I'm gonna go and fast travel to. Green Tech Genetics to do a quest there. Why does it say my PB is 2 hours? That's probably my console time that you're looking at. About 13 seconds. Yeah. I've had a lot of runs on this pace the past couple days now that I've been doing runs with the new route. I've been real busy with school, so I haven't been able to do too many runs. But I think yesterday I had 3 runs in a row make it this far on this pace. Thanks, Frank. What happened to the splits in the middle? They didn't have a time to compare against, so they don't show a delta. So I'm going to enter here, and then I'm going to use a trash bin to climb up a couple levels, and set up a punch warp, and then use that punch warp to punch warp up to the courser and kill him. Have a short little chat. So I'm going to... I explain that now because just that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. This part has a lot going on, so... I like to explain it beforehand and then do it, so it's a fast-paced split. Come on. So now I'm gonna throw one of my frag mines down. Once the elevator doors open, then the area will be loaded, and I'll be able to punch warp up next to the Corsair, and we'll have a little chit chat. So I'm going to take the Corsair chip, and now I'm going to quick save and load warp. That was an okay split. Could have been better. Yeah, Pit, dude, that's a good thing that they always talk about with studying, is you should always try and teach other people when you're studying, because you learn things better. But so after I load warp here, I'll fast travel to Railroad HQ and pretty much decode the Corsair chip. Because that's pretty much right now all we're doing is progressing the main quest. So just load warped. Good Remus. We're allowed to fast travel to and from the HQ, Railroad HQ, because it's the, like, you're allowed to fast travel to and from it when you're a member. Typically you can't fast travel to it though because it's inside, but because you're a member you're allowed to. So while I'm here I'm going to talk to Dez and do some looting because we still need to get some scrap for the teleporter. Talk to her real quick.
J'ai un rapport qui ressemble plus à une BD dessus.
Ouais, c'était moi.
Okay, that dude is bumping me.
C'est ce que pour
J'avais besoin
I hope
d'une
he's not in my way.
vous suivre.
Oh. Sleep for an hour because it skips dialogue, and then shoot these guys to skip lines.
Décrochez la timbale.
Oh no.
Donnez la puce.
Oh no.
Voyons ce qu'il y a dessus.
Tenez.
À toi de jouer.
Oh my god.
Montre un peu ce que tu sais faire.
That was the sketchiest thing I've ever done. Pretty much I had to complete that dialogue line and I sat down in the chair instead of talking to her. But I was able to still finish it. Thanks, Arson. So now I fast traveled and then exit and gonna re-enter because it skips dialogue lines. And also, so I'm able to shoot them. You can shoot people who you're allied with up to like 4 times before they get aggroed. So I'm able to shoot them, and every time I shoot them it skips a line. That dude is sitting on nothing. He's doing wall sits. So I'm gonna load warp because it'll skip these lines. Ugh, that was a bad split. That could have been a lot better. That sitting thing lost me about a second or two. I'm gonna load warp into here and talk to Virgil. He can spawn in like one of 5 spots. Yeah, 5 spots. So let's hope he's in a good one. Typically he's up way in the back at a workbench, but he can spawn like right next to the entrance if we're lucky. Oh. Saves a couple seconds. I'm gonna talk to him. Mash all the right dialogues because if you don't get like too bad of a lockup, it saves like a second.
Je veux des résultats. Pas des... Vous doutez de moi?
Stop talking to him. Gonna go back to the Railroad HQ and give them the teleporter plans that Virgil just gave us. And now we can, and then after that we can build the teleporter. This run's so good. It could be better. It could be a lot better, but this run's pretty good. Talk with Dez. Oh, come on. She got locked up in that animation.
J'ai des plans pour fabriquer un intercepteur de site. L'Institut utilise un téléporteur.
Shoot her to skip a couple lines. Right there. Run over and talk to Tom. Be careful. Oh, okay. He can. Oh, come on.
Tenez.
Okay, thank God. He's talking. Sometimes he'll stand in this spot, and when he stands in that specific spot, it'll lock up his dialogues, and you can't skip his lines. That'll happen a lot. So I'm gonna drop that military grade circuit board because if we don't drop it, then the game will scrap it. Come on, Remus. Let's do it. So now I'm just gonna build the platform of the teleporter, and then I'll fast travel to back to the HQ. Oh shit, wait, no. I want to go to Fort Hagen to offset the time clock, day clock. No, I don't need the telephone because I already picked up the hot plate inside of Nick's agency. So now fast traveled back to Railroad HQ, and it should be about 5 a.m. now. So when I go to talk to Tom, he'll be asleep, but I can sleep 1 hour real quick after talking to him, and then he'll wake up. Which saves a couple seconds as opposed to not doing this Fort Hagen fast travel and then talking to him because he'll be asleep. Saves like 2-3 seconds if you still have to sleep. I'm gonna talk to him. Okay, he's asleep. Oh, it's 4 a.m., so I have to sleep twice. So it's 6 a.m. Grab the circuit board again and talk to him.
Oui, c'est fait. La plateforme est terminée. Ok, merci.
Alright, let's finish the teleporter. Just building all this shit. Come on. Thank you. Wait for Des for the quest update. There we go.
Desdemona,
Quelle est la situation?
j'aime bien ce nom.
The Exalted are people who have been vessels on record runs.
Je ferai de mon mieux.
Tom, avant, c'est dans vous.
Comptez sur moi.
Vous y arriverez.
I'm gonna shoot her a couple times to skip her lines. Oh, fuck, I should have shot her another time. Fast travel to skip a line. Fuck, I'm not sure. That might have been too early. That might have been rip run. I might have just choked it. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck.
Thanks, Arthur.
Thanks for the host fish snack. Oh, fuck yes, it worked. Alright, so now we're getting teleported to the Institute. So now inside of the Institute, pretty much all we have to do is upload that thing we pickpocketed off of Sturgis a long time ago. And that will bring in the Minutemen. And then we can shoot Preston to skip a couple dialogue lines. I'm going to make a hard save that I will load warp to later, and then set up a punch warp and do what's called the jet jump, which is pretty much an extended jump by using jet. It allows for us to access the door far away. So let's do all that. There we go. Okay, I got it. I sometimes will fall off the ledge there while I'm running, but this should work. There we go. So now I'm going to run through the advanced systems. Now once I enter the reactor level, I'll trigger my punch warp, which will drop me to right next to the reactor, where I'll place the bomb and then load warp to the fens. And now what I'll do is, after I load warp, I'm going to fast travel to Railroad HQ, where I'm going to shoot Des from afar to aggro her, and then put away my gun immediately so they forgive me, and that'll teleport me back to the Institute. And pretty much all I'm doing right now is hitting a bunch of really jumbled quest stages that, like, this game was put together with, because this game falls apart at the end. The quest stages are so jumbled. So there's my load warp. No, this is an actual run snack. So again, I'll shoot Des to aggro her, which will teleport me back to the Institute, and then after I get teleported back, I'm going to fast travel back to here again. Because then I need to talk to Tinker Tom. There we go. So once I get in here, I gotta talk to Tom.
WR incoming. Prepare your salt, boys.
Thanks, Waff. Tom, he'll say the wrong lines if you don't wait long enough for the quest stage to update, so I just have to wait for him to stop talking and get that quest stage update of Speak to Tinker Tom. So I say this, and then I'm going to quick save and then load warp to that door in the Institute. And this door, it's about like a five frame window that I can load warp during, and it's kind of hard to hit, but I practice it a lot. So I practiced it for like 30 minutes off stream today. Thanks, Impasta. Think we got it. Yeah, we got it. Let's hope that we don't crash on the last load screen. This run's super improvable as well.
Hein?
Je vous en prie, vous devez m'écouter.
Allez à l'Institut et prenez contact avec Z-14 dans les plus brefs délais.
It's gonna be a 40-45. It's 30 seconds from this load screen. Alright, little Remus, doesn't look like it's gonna be a crash. What do you want to do with your sub? You're already a sub, so you can hold on to it and have it be your resub, or you could give it to someone else. You could spread the love.
GG. GG//.
It's an open dick. BJ Rough One.
I close my eyes.
Thanks for gifting that sub. Bubbles, welcome to the sub tub, dude. I hope you're naked, cause I am. Oh, I can feel it wash over me. The salt, not the salt. The salt, the radiation.
Whether or not you're ready.
The heat, the radiation.
At some point, it happens to all of us.
Remus, I didn't see if you sent a message saying who to gift it to.
This wasn't the world I wanted, but
if you want it to be gifted to you.
The Commonwealth.
Unless you want to keep it for yourself, just let me know.
Ripped apart and put back together. I hoped I could find my family, cheat time, make us whole again. The way we were.
A rabid taco.
But now I know. I know I can't go back. I know the world has changed. That the road ahead will be hard. This time, I'm ready. Because
You
I
deserve
know
this.
war. War never changes.